Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight I'm talking to you about your local bar association, whether it's the county bar association or state bar association or city bar association, whatever you have. I will tell you that in the past, I have had experiences personally where I felt like the bar association was not serving my particular needs. So back when I was practicing, I was a younger, newer attorney. I was trying to do things that I didn't feel the bar necessarily supported, or I wasn't able to explore those kind of ideas with some of the members of the bar association at the time because I felt like they weren't trying to do the same things I was trying to do. And so I didn't find it very supportive. I didn't find it very helpful. And as a result, I didn't attend many bar association events. And so, I mean, I would go every once in a while, but it wasn't a regular thing for me. I definitely did not rely upon it for building my practice and building my business. And so it's been a number of years since I've been to any bar association events, whether it was on the state level or local level or anything like that. And so I was very excited to be able to have the opportunity both last year and then again this year to speak at the Illinois State Bar Association. And I live in Illinois, and so it was a great opportunity for me not only to speak, but then also to get some CLE credits, since I do still have my license and maintain that. And so, of course, I participated and was glad to go down last year to the event and thought it was I was pleasantly surprised by the event, let's say. And so I was glad to be a part of it. And I was really it started me thinking about the idea that, you know, the people, as with any organization, and particularly professional organizations, you know, as the people that are involved change and people go through different phases of their careers, and sometimes they're more involved and less involved. And so the makeup of the association really does change given a certain amount of time. And so it had been probably a decade or more since I had been to any bar association events. And so I thought that this would be a great opportunity. Again, last year's conference I thought was great. This year I was invited back to speak and again was very excited about that, having had a good experience last year. And I'll tell you, I thought this year's event was even better than last year. They had what I was impressed by the most was that they had some very relevant and timely topics, I thought. In the past I had felt, not necessarily with this event, but in general, I had felt like they weren't really speaking to the things that I had concerns about, right? And so a lot of times I thought it was a real waste of my time to go there. Not to mention, in the past, I felt like there were a lot of kind of Debbie Downers, right? Like people that were really just looking to complain and not necessarily to make any changes or to do anything differently. But I have to tell you, I did not experience that at all this year. And in fact, it was quite the opposite. And I was super excited about that, to meet people that were like-minded and people that were trying to accomplish some of the things that I thought were important for the legal profession. And again, timely presentations. So there, just wanted to give you an example of some of the things that I saw that really stood out to me. Again, they were great, all of them, but there was one gentleman, Damon Reel is his name, and he presented to us on Chat GPT. Now, I don't know about you, but that's all the rage. And of course, everyone's talking about it. And there's more and more presentations. I will admit to you, I've seen more presentations on Chat GPT in the last year than, I thought was possible, frankly. But I will tell you, his absolutely stood out for me. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was very practical. I thought it was very helpful. So I was really, really excited by and very excited to see his presentation. Another one that stood out for me was called Scams That Plague Law Firms and How to Protect You from Hackers. Again, this was by Burton Kelso. This is, again, a topic that has been very popular in recent years, right? But I really felt like the way that Burton presented it, was very, very different and unique and very helpful. He really did try and focus on the people perspective and the people aspect of it, because again, when we're talking about fraud, a lot of it has to do with people. It's rarely the technology that went bad, so to speak. It is always, always the people running it. And so that was a really, really great presentation. We also talked about, now this was a hard one. We talked about dealing with trauma in the practice of law, and whether it was trauma that you personally experienced or heard about or, had an outside experience with. It was definitely a conversation that I think needs to be had, right? And again, I practiced in real estate. There wasn't a lot of trauma going on there, which I was thankful for, of course. But we recognize the fact that, of course, there are attorneys out there that are having to deal with this. And how do we deal with this? And, what is an acceptable way to handle this, or not even acceptable, but helpful way to handle this? So that was a really, really great conversation. And then lastly, the one I found most entertaining, frankly, and was really laughing pretty much the entire time, was called The Bad Lawyers of Hollywood. And of course, that focused on ethics, presented by Stuart Teacher, who apparently is a teacher. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, he was hysterical. Like, it's just such like, realistic experiences and things that you can really relate to, right? Really relatable. And I thought that presentation was fantastic as well. So anyway, if you're looking for speakers, if you're involved with your bar association and want to talk any more about those, I'd be happy to give you their names again or point you in the right direction. But my point is simply to say this. I know that in my experience, I've had some not so helpful experiences from bar associations in the past. And I also know, as a practicing attorney, and I also know that they can be really, really awesome resources. So for me to be able to have this experience, to see how our state bar association has changed and the things that have changed about it. Again, that's not to say there was anything negative about, the experience I had in the past with the particular people, but it is to say that I felt like I wasn't getting the information and the support that I needed or wanted at the time. And I did not feel that way at all. I thought that this was an excellently put together program. I thought all of the speakers did a great job. Those were just some in particular that I particularly resonated with. And I hope that you as well are able to give these associations a try again, because I feel like, again, as the membership changes, the programming changes, the content changes, they may come around again. And I don't know all the bar associations in the entire country. I don't know all the state ones. I don't know all the local ones. I don't. But I do know that, again, as people and associations change, they may come back to relevant content that I would hate for you to miss out on, because I think it really can be an awesome resource and can be a great opportunity. So keep that in mind as you're seeing things come up from your bar associations, and I hope they turn into a very valuable resource for you as well. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend and a great evening.